What's up, everybody? So I got up this morning. I decided I'm going to go for a nice walk on the beach. I didn't realize how cold it was going to be, so I got to put my Florida winter jacket on. So don't let anybody tell you that, oh, it's hot all the time in Florida, because trust me, we get some cold weather here too, especially this time of year. So it's like 52 degrees, cloudy, wind's blowing. It's not a very pleasant day, but there are people here out on the beach, and great day for a walk on the beach if you don't mind the cold temperatures. But anyway, I want to talk about short-term rentals in this video because I think a lot of people have an expectation level that may be a little bit too high when it comes to short-term rentals, because if you look back at a few years ago during the COVID years, which I would say is 2020, 2021, and 2022, those years were not normal. Obviously, everybody was trying to come to Florida at that time. People were, people had money. They didn't have to work. So not only did people have money back then, but they also had time. And when I say they had time, a lot of people weren't working. They just got checks. Or if they were working, they were working from home, or could work anywhere, that they really wanted to. So a lot of people at that time were coming to Florida because Florida was open. People were coming here and enjoying the freedom that we have, enjoying the nice weather that we have. So those years were an anomaly, and it's hard to compare what's going on now to what happened in 2020 and 21 and 22. So not only did we have the COVID years, but we also had a period of relatively calm weather, meaning we didn't have crazy hurricane activity. So hurricane activity has kept vacancy rates, a lot higher the last few years, because in 2020 and 2021, during the time when everybody was here, we also had no hurricanes. Now, granted, we had a big red tide event in 2021, which, under normal circumstances would have impacted our tourism. But 2021, we still had a lot of people here. But the last few years have been a lot different. We had Hurricane Ian in 2022, and then we had Hurricane Adelia in 2023. And then just this past year, we had two major hurricanes, Helene and Milton. So the bottom line is, guys, when I say keep your expectation level in check, I mean, don't expect to hit a home run as soon as you buy something like that. Your first couple years, you're kind of building your business up, and this is an important point I have to make about Airbnbs or buying a short-term rental. You've got to treat it like a business. You've got to market it like a business. You've got to have the right management team in place in order to market your property to keep your vacancy rate low. And you can't just rent your place out or let people stay there for free like your friends and family all the time. I mean, if you do that, you're not going to make any money. So unless you treat it like a business, and unless you build your clientele up and build that business up, it's not going to be profitable. You've got to have a long-term vision, because you've got to take into account the fact that when you buy real estate, and this is true with residential or investment property, it doesn't matter. You've got to have a long-term mindset. Buying a short-term rental is no different than buying a house to live in that regard. Your appreciation is going to come over time. Not only is your appreciation going to come over time, but your income is going to be generated higher and higher over time based on you marketing your property, getting repeat customers. So all of that is so important. So unless you treat it like a business, don't expect to make any money. Guys, you won't believe this. There's people out there paddle boarding. The water temperature, I think, is like 62 degrees. And they don't have wetsuits on. Check this out. Absolutely, that's insane. But anyway, okay, so I mentioned about treating this like a business. Now, the most important way to treat this like a business is to keep your vacancy rate as low as possible. You cannot overcharge. Okay, you've got to keep your rates in check and you're marketing to people that basically in the middle class. This is not Los Angeles, this is Sarasota, Florida. So you can't overcharge and expect your vacancy to be full all the time. So today's inauguration day, and I don't think anybody can say with a straight face that Joe Biden's been good for the middle class in this country in the past few years. And just remember, guys, when you're operating an Airbnb, the middle class are the ones that are going to pay your bills. So going forward, I think is going to be a lot better for people that want to buy a short-term rental, because I think more people in the middle class and more people in that, you know, average income bracket are going to have money to spend to take a vacation. So just remember how important it is to realize who your clientele is going to be. People that's the top of the income bracket are not generally staying in short-term rentals. They're probably the ones buying them. So in my opinion, guys, the best thing to buy if you're looking to buy a short-term rental is a single-family house. And yes, you can rent a single-family house short-term on the island as long as the land that it sits on is designated residential multifamily. Most of these houses are not. However, there are some that are. They're kind of relegated into certain sections. But anything that's a single-family house with no HOA fee, no inevitable special assessment that's going to come up at some point, that's going to eat into your profit margin, I think that's the way to go. Of course, you know, if you buy a duplex or a quadplex or something like that, it's obviously going to be more expensive. A single-family house is going to be more expensive than a condo in most cases. But when you look at the fees involved, you know, you want to keep those expenses to a minimum. You're going to have taxes and insurance, of course, but yeah, I wouldn't touch a condo right now unless you can get some kind of screaming deal on it. So, okay, guys, hope you found value in the video, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. God bless.